Welcome to the Soul Too Early Sports Card Podcast, home from the Dallas Card Show, the the one in Australia. Look it up. That's Kai. I'm probably dyslexic. Welcome to episode 74 of the Soul Too Early Podcast. Kai, how the hell you doing, man?
Good. That's crazy. The next one's going to be 75. Jeez.
It's really weird because obviously we took a couple weeks between like schedule conflicts, vacations, like other random stuff. But yeah, this podcast is very quickly approaching 75 total episodes and then soon to be 100. Like,
Yeah, what do we do when it hits 100? Do we just like stop?
I think we just retire here. Like, there's nothing good will come from this point going on. Had a good run. Like, no, I'm kidding. I don't know. It's really kind of weird that like this is a pretty long running podcast at this point, not to compare it to others, but we've been doing this since September or October 2023. No, 2022, I should say. Actually, my bad. So it's been quite a while. But hey, listen, clearly I'm bad with numbers, as my name would say, probably dyslexic. But we're back from Dallas, or I'm back from Dallas, I should say. Really just one of those shows that continues to make me feel very positive about the sports card world in general, at least in person. And one thing that I get to remember and experience a lot, and Kai, maybe not so much for you because you don't get to travel as much for shows, is online and Instagram in general is such a small, minor component of the sports card world that it really doesn't actually matter when you're physically at these major card shows.
Yeah, I think you realize that when you go to your first big card show. I think before you go, you're probably like, oh my God, like everyone's on Instagram, everyone's on whatever. Then you get to the show and 90% of people aren't on Instagram. I don't know about 90%, but people walking around, maybe 90% aren't on there. But it is kind of crazy, especially your first national. I mean, maybe a quarter of people are on some sort of social media, but a lot of them like just travel in from wherever overseas and they don't really do any of that stuff. Maybe they have a shop or I know I've dealt with people at the national who just do the national every year and then they just collect inventory all year for the national and don't really deal anywhere else. So it is kind of crazy like how many people don't surface on social media.
Well, not even that either. Like, if you are pretty active online on Instagram or Facebook or whatever else, like, I don't know what it is. It kind of gets me in like a negative headspace every now and again with like all the bullshit that seems to go on online. And then you go in person and nothing ever changes. There's no actual consequences for actions.
No fights.
There's no fights. No one's gonna take you outside and like beat you up. Like, I used to look at things like, oh, I'm going to say and do whatever I want online because there's no repercussions for your actions. And I do stand by that. But I don't know what kind of hit me over the weekend or like maybe kind of try to change how I think about things. I'm going to try to be a little more positive online on Instagram because not that it impacts my ability to sell and trade either online or in person, but I'm not trying to be like hobby positivity, everything's perfect, pay no attention to all these critical issues. But I've also just realized real life does not give a shit about the online drama. And frankly, I shouldn't either. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I know maybe 5 or 6 years ago, a lot of it was like entertaining to me. But at this point, it's just like, there's just so much crap going on every day. It's like, I can't even keep up with it. It's like all this stupid stuff, all this drama. It's like, I could not care any less at this point. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, trying to, I guess, just enjoy it more, maybe, if that's the right way to put it.
I think enjoying it more is a right way of saying it. Like, and this is bad because I'm friends with like Jack, Suns Fan 8, Tyler Sports Cards, like all those guys. I really do like them as people. They're great individuals. But like Jeff Wilson won, like Roth Cards won, those guys won. Like, I'm sorry, like we can post memes and joke about it all you want, but they won. Like they have a card shop, they have an Instagram audience or a YouTube audience, or like people come up to them at shows and want to make deals. And you can repost the same memes and shit as much as you want to, and they're funny, and I agree. But they won. Like, it doesn't matter anymore.
Even know if it's about like winning. I feel like it's just about people like disagreeing with like the way people do things. Everyone gets to the same point. If you keep doing it, you're gonna be good at it eventually. But like, I don't know. I guess we just shit on people that are cringy or whatever, but they're most likely just trying to do the same thing and make money doing cards.
Yeah.
I
And
don't think there's a
listen,
bad way to do it. I guess maybe you can perceive it in a bad way, but yeah.
like I'm part of the problem too. Remember when we talked about NPB for a little bit for like the last year, and then so many boxes got bought to the point where there was a group chat created.
Side note, but are
Um,
those available again?
I actually was checking this morning because I was curious. They're at about 260 per
Oh
box.
wow, per
I think
box or set?
per sorry, per
Oh,
4 box
okay.
set.
You
My
almost made
bad.
me fucking jump.
No, that would dude, they were over a grand for 4 box sets. That'd be crazy. For reference, when I was buying these around this time last year, actually, give or take, because it's March. Oh my god. They were about 150 total, like including shipping for boxes from Japan. And that shit was great. I still have some MPB in the house, but like it's much less than
Only one closet full.
no, actually about one closet full. Like there's about 6 or 8 SGC boxes filled with Roki Sasaki cards, and then over there in the corner by the couch is a briefcase filled with PSA slabs of like Yamamoto, Murakami, all those guys.
You're crazy.
I have a serious problem. I want you to understand that. This is not okay. But it's so crazy. Dude, we're at baseball season. It's officially spring now. I think it might be the first day of spring today or yesterday at the time of recording.
And it's 40 degrees here.
It is it's like 45 to 50 here in New Jersey. It's definitely kind of cold. What's interesting too is Dallas had some really terrible weather over the past weekend, and it was gorgeous back home. It was like 75 degrees and sunny back here, and it was like pouring thunderstorms, like huge issues in Dallas. My flight got delayed as a result coming home. Thankfully, no major issues for me, but it was a crazy time being in town.
I think that happened the last time I went, if I'm not wrong. But
When
yeah,
you were talking with Joko,
yeah,
yeah, it was like hailing. I think
yeah.
that was a weird time,
I
dude.
feel like Dallas always has some sort of weather issue the one weekend the show happens.
I mean, it makes sense too. Just like anytime there's like any kind of weather in Dallas, it feels like it's always like
I
a
guess it's kind of like
hurricane.
Florida.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
they either get like snow or it's hailing or it's thunderstorms. I mean, obviously I don't pay as much attention to the weather there as I do in my own
Yeah.
backyard, but it does always feel like there's kind of something weird going on. I actually already booked my travel for May Dallas because that is the next real major show that I'm doing. Like my wedding is less than 100 days away at this time of recording. I have to figure out all that shit, and I'm not nearly as free as I would usually be going into the spring and summer, and then plus my honeymoon too. Like I'm not really going to be around in the show scene much of May, June, and July, except for the national, I guess, and then May Dallas. Like that might be my last major show until the national at this point.
Have you made any advances on like a space for the national, or are you still kind of up in the air on everything?
I need to get a space at the national. If I don't get one, I would definitely consider giving up my flight and hotel for the show, which really sucks. Like I love the national, but you're gonna quickly see in the next couple of years if they don't pay attention and cater to a younger audience in a way, like allowing people to split tables, allowing younger, content creators or influencers or whatever else, or young collectors in general to actively be involved in the show, as opposed to like the geriatric 75-year-old who's been there for 40 years and like giving it back to their good old homeboy. If they don't let that younger audience grow within the national, we'll find other shows to go to. If Fanatics puts on a show in New York, if Burbank continues to be positive, if Dallas doesn't compete with every major show going on the same weekend, and all these other like major shows continue to grow and develop and like be something meaningful, okay, the national exists and it's been there forever. But if you don't adapt, you die. And the national is the perfect example of an old guard industry or an old guard part of the sports card industry that needs to adapt, in my opinion, to allow for younger people who have sold a card in the last year, not use Beckett price guides, to be involved and set up at a show.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it a lot. It kind of blows my mind. Like you would think the people that put on the show would see the perceived value from like giving a new person that table space, like, but I guess they just don't. I guess it's the battle of pissing off the old people who, not to put it in a bad way, but like might not be there much longer, versus like getting someone new in. And then might bring more people to the show, pay more for the table. Like, I don't know, it just kind of confuses me why they don't make that switch. I guess you'd have to go around like auditing tables in a way. I don't really
Well,
know how you do that, but
they're trying to audit tables in the fact of they don't want people splitting them up. They want it under one person with like,
well,
they're
that
just
too. But if you're gonna look at like the quality and what they have, what they price, like that kind of audit, like I don't know how you do that exactly.
I don't think you can really get away with that because if they have that table, they quote unquote have every right to do whatever they want to.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then exactly what I just said, they have every right to do whatever they want. If they have 40 showcases worth of room, why can't they rent it out? If there's a fire hazard, guess what, dude? It's not going to be the 20 people behind the table. It's going to be the fact the National has gotten so popular that it smells like a fucking war zone, and you need better, you need the ability for people to actually move through it. It's not going to be the dealers causing the issues if it's too crowded. It's going to be your show being so successful that
Yeah,
the fire
I
hazard.
also look at it like not even just the splitting tables. I look at the people. I think everyone knows the infamous booth where the guy has like 15 showcases, with like 2 cards in each showcase. I look at those booths and I'm like we got to do something here. And I don't know exactly what the plan is, but I feel like that's something the National. Now, like you said, they have the right to do whatever they want, but like you just got to do something about that. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, when you say that, is that like the high-end individual who has like 5 cards who doesn't give a shit?
Yeah,
and,
he has like 2 exquisite NTs of like Matt Ryan and like a couple like he has like 20 cards within an entire block of tables.
I
You
mean,
know
at that
exactly.
point,
I feel like you've seen the table before.
oh, of course I have. I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen individuals who have actually high-end cards, like 50 grand, 100 grand cards, who deserve to have their table because guess what? Yeah, they might have a low quantity, but guess what? Yeah, those cards are, if someone wants them, they will own them and they'll shell out the cash. If you have $500 worth of cards between 3 showcases, maybe you shouldn't have them. Like, come on, be real about yourself.
They might just be into like deep at this point in terms of like rearranging everything and redoing the system. Like I don't think there's really a way besides like letting people split, I guess. But then the
But
old
that's
people and people that take up all the space aren't going to split anyways.
But some who are intelligent will either they'll give it to like their sons who like would probably be a little closer to my age than yours, like in their late 30s, maybe early 30s, give or take, who are into cards, who like want to split it with their friends or know people who have high end cards who want them in there, and like their business expenses are cut in half as a result, or even get paid for in full. Like these showcases are very expensive. Dude, you could buy a showcase last year for like over $1,000, even closer to $2,000 last year. I don't know what's going to happen now. If they really crack down on this and don't let people split showcases or tables, I should say, my game plan if I go to the National is going to be buying out some fucking poor kid who has shit cards, buy him out, get his showcase and table, and worry about it later. If that's not a realistic option, I very possibly may skip the National, and I won't really feel that bad about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know how they could regulate like people splitting them. I guess they would walk around and see who's at
That's
the
the only way
table.
too.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's really annoying.
I think it's a scare tactic, honestly. Like, I don't think they're really gonna ever kind of walk around and enforce that unless they have, and I just didn't know.
No, I'm not really sure either. What I will say, for the first time I saw at the Dallas Card Show, was them enforcing people being at their table and available. So, for reference, and I had a great Dallas Card Show. We'll talk about that in a second. The individuals to the left of me, I don't know their name. They're very polite people. I like them a lot. It used to be Jay. It used to be Mojo Sports. Jay was great. Jay would have camera crews, whatever. He would walk around the show. Not a big deal. And then one shy Brian Gray next to me. He was there one time, and then I'm not sure what happened to him. He left like Friday or Saturday. Like he left very early into the show. The guys who are next to me now, I know one of them is named Andrew. I don't recall their Instagram name. It's whatever. They would set up and they would leave. And on their like banner behind them, it'd be like, text or call me with any questions, which is a tactic. It's actually not the worst tactic in the world, but I can tell you that a lot of people who were there did not bother calling or texting him. they'd ask me questions. I'm like, yo, I'm not answering that. Like, there's his phone number. Like, you can look up and
He would leave his stuff in the case.
Yeah.
I mean, was it like? Did he ask you to like watch it, or what was the?
No, but I was generally behind the table, or I had Mikey with me.
So he just left. Like, I'm confused. He just left all his stuff in a case that someone could just steal, and then just left.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Kai, don't question things. Just let them happen because
Is it
there's
like
no
good stuff?
logic. He bought my LeBron J.R. Smith dual patch auto, like star of the show Thursday night, which was great.
It's
He's
interesting.
a nice guy. He bought $7,000 worth of stuff off me. I like him. Like, I'm not trying to talk shit, but yeah, maybe it was locked, maybe it wasn't. I don't really know.
Yeah, I know. For me, I'm not gonna waste my time texting and waiting for him, hoping he comes back. Like, I'm just gonna leave. I don't know about it.
Yeah. And they were the Dallas Card Show, like not security, but like the show runners were like walking the show and like, hey, how long is this guy at the table for? Like, have you seen him much? I'm like, I didn't answer. Mikey actually did, so I did not get involved. Like, I did not want to be rat. I didn't want to.
Or Mikey throwing him under the bus.
Well, it's not throwing him under the bus. It's more of like it's under my name, and I don't want to say anything bad. Mikey does not give a shit. They don't know who he is, so he didn't really try to say the truth. Like, you just like, it's like, yeah, you know, they've been walking a lot, whatever. I don't know. They don't want people walking into the front of the show and seeing it be empty.
Dude,
I
does
leave on
the
Saturday
Dallas
night.
care about splitting tables?
No, they don't give a shit. You buy the
Okay.
table, you can do whatever you want with it, as long as you, I imagine, are not on the front wall where you're not there and it just kind of looks empty.
Yeah.
I think that was the issue that they had. So I don't know. I get it. I love my spot. I generally like to sit behind a table. I think it's better for me for negotiating purposes, for deal purposes, for just like getting quality and quantity out of people. I like setting up. I enjoy it a lot. I will walk a show, but like it depends. And yeah, I'm the perfect dealer, I guess, quote unquote, for being on a front wall or highly visible because I will basically be there. And the walk-ups at the show honestly were okay. I really more made deals with people who I was familiar with. I gave Dustin Red Rifle sports cards like $5,000 for a bunch of game used patch autos and stuff. Like, very nice, like $100 to $400 cards that basically all sold and were traded at the show. I think a handful made it back with me. Like, that was a very smart move. I sold and traded like 65-70% of my total inventory that I had going into the show. Like, in my Zion case right now, because I've not processed all the new inventory just yet, I have like 30 cards on my desk right now that I have to process, and in my Zion case right now, there's probably about 25 maybe cards, maybe 30 right now. And I went into that show with an overflowing briefcase because I figured it was going to move. I did very well. A lot of deals were like 20 for 2 or selling a bunch of cards at like 80-85% comps to people that I like, and walked out with a bunch of cash. And I actually was in a position on Saturday with one of our friends, Sasha, who has been on this podcast, used to YouTube content, whatever else. I offered him $45,000 in crypto. So not physical cash. I mean, I could have figured it out. I offered him $45,000 for his 1952 Taos Mickey Mantle PSA 2.5, which is a very, very strong offer from my part. And I'm kind of shocked they didn't take it, actually. It's the most I've ever offered for a card.
Yeah, we were talking about the other night, I guess yesterday, but
Yeah, whatever.
that is kind of crazy.
It's so the rationale for that being, without getting into the numbers behind it, I've been buying crypto for a while, selling it, whatever else.
Dave's rich.
I'm not rich, Kai. But I did sell crypto to the point where I am now at a break even on it. So whatever happens with it, good, bad, or otherwise, I'm not stressing about it. And with the money I had left, or part of what I had left, I was considering getting the mantle because, hey, you know what? If I buy this, crypto goes down, whatever, I have a mantle. If it goes up, great, I still have some left. Plus a mantle that I know I can get 47.5 to 50 out of. Sasha considered it, and I once again am kind of shocked it did not go through.
It's like a crypto versus like cash thing.
It could have been like we would have had to like rearrange something because obviously this was Saturday, prices would go up or down on Sunday. I think prices actually maybe went down slightly, so we would have had to come to like an agreement at the moment in time, like what the Bitcoin's worth, and then I would have sent it the difference, and he would have netted out $45,000, which is probably what would have happened. and then he would have had to either keep the crypto if he wanted to, or exchange it out himself. But it would have been, I would have walked out of the show on Saturday with the mantle, and Saturday night or Sunday he would have gotten paid, which would have been crazy. But it just did not work out that way.
Did he move it, or does he still have it?
I don't know. Mikey was trying to help me close that deal too, which is super funny because even he knew that was like a very fair offer. He wanted the card too. Like it was, I don't know. It was just one of those things where I saw it. I'm like, I want this item, and I don't know. I don't know how that would play with anyone else. I'm not sure I'll ever use that again because my crypto is still a good asset to have anyway. But like, it would have to be the right kind of deal where I would offer something like that again.
I saw the other fellas in the chat, like Mikey and whatnot, got some really nice cuts in the last week.
Yeah,
Like, autos.
dude. Sasha has been going after cut autos too. Actually, Sasha got Mikey's Jackie Robinson cut auto. Mikey got a Babe Ruth cut auto. PSA 10-9 auto. Tyler, obviously, Hot Corner has his 9-5-10. Yeah, there's a very, very strong cut auto take going on right now, which is just like,
Or we just know everyone that likes cut autos.
that's definitely possible too. And like, that's the thing that's so interesting about the Sold Too Early chat is when we actually get talking in there, people have some pretty crazy shit. And there's a lot of expertise that is shared and given in that chat. For instance, earlier today, I am still targeting this item. We'll see if I announce the incoming post at the time this episode launches. Someone has a Mickey Mantle Ken Griffey Jr. 94 Upper Deck auto, like a dual autograph on it. And the Griffey is aftermarket, which is perfectly fine. I figured that out. I knew it. But Dennis, Too Legit to Quit, provided like examples. I knew Mikey was the one who had told me about this, like educated me about this. Fang, Matt Sports Cards. Oh God, everyone's Instagram names are so hard to remember. But like a lot of like expert opinions and people that like do either do this full time or have been in this for a long time who offer that knowledge freely. You know, when it's needed and available, it's really great to have those resources and people I 100% trust in terms of cards at our fingertips. And it's just a great like resource to have. And I'd recommend everyone to have that group in general for like not even like selling tips and bro, let's pump up this asset. It's just like, hey, I need an opinion that is an expert. Who do I actually rely on for this information?
On that card, do you think having to explain the auto is almost too much of a hassle for the value you'd get out of it?
I think I could get value out of it anyway. I mean, he wants my Emmons Stephen Curry gold bar auto, which is sick. I got that back in Dallas. I had originally gotten it from Joey, Cubs Collector 22 Joey. And then I moved it to a friend. And then 6 weeks later, 8 weeks later, whatever, got it back in a trade down from me, which is pretty rare, but whatever. That dual auto is another good asset to have. I don't think the aftermarket really affects it too much. Because whoever wants to own that item just like understands how rare those truly are. And it's one of those where I think I would do better with it in New Jersey, New York than like, I mean, sure, I could sell that Curry online. It's very possible. I've already gotten offered comps, quote unquote, on it, which is fine. But like, I think I could do better with that dual auto if I'm able to get it.
Yeah, I didn't know if like it's one of those things where people get turned off right when you say that, and then it's like a hassle to like try to get a deal done.
They could, but like someone's gonna be like, I don't care. Like it's gorgeous. It doesn't really matter.
Because I would imagine it's, I don't want to say a good bit less, but definitely less than the real one, right?
It's definitely less,
Not
but
real.
like
I don't know how to, you know what I mean.
Pack pulled, I understand.
Yeah.
Is it different? Maybe a little bit, but like once again, not as much as you would think. And also, when I'm into the Curry back again as well for the second time, plus I'd get cash out of it at some amount, I'm willing to quote unquote take the risk and like not really worry about it. The only thing I'd worry about is if I was ever to go to PSA with it and then PSA DNA, which I'm not really interested in doing.
Is it Beckett? I forgot.
It is a Beckett slab. It's I think it's not BAS. It's just Beckett, I believe, with an auto grade of 8. So
Yeah.
a lot of interesting times right now in the sports card world. Like I moved so many like cards across the Dallas card show that were all between like $1 and $500, and I got back quality as well and some deals. But like, it's so interesting. Like that is truly those sweet spots. And I was talking to a repacker about this actually over the weekend. They have so many issues finding these floor cards. It's not about these like high end ceiling, like this is the chase you want to get. It really is just finding quality and quantity of these $100 to $300 cards in bulk.
Yeah, I kind of heard something similar. I guess someone I sell a lot to like can't keep in their $50 to $200 cards. Like they just keep buying them because they can't keep them in stock for the repacks or whatever. I mean, I think it's been like that for like 6 months now. Honestly, I think we've talked about it a few times, but like the $50 to $500 cards, like it's just almost automatic. Honestly, if you can buy them at margins or grade them or do whatever, like it just seems like it changed really drastically maybe in the last year or so from that really high end down to people just realize it's way easier to liquidate and turn over stuff that's a little bit cheaper. More people can afford it, repackers, but I don't think it's anything that new, really. I mean, I think it's kind of been like that for a little bit now, right?
I think so. I like to imagine that collectors have gotten smarter in a way. Maybe it's not smarter, maybe just more like understanding of like Topps and Panini and Fanatics, like just not offering good products that are realistic for people. I mean, if you spend $500 on a box of cards today, a normal sealed pack or a couple packs of cards, give or take, you might get $100 worth of value. You might hit the lottery and get a $10,000 card. It's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. Three packs have a higher floor, not as high of a ceiling, obviously. And I mean, there's a gambling aspect to all of this. And I think that is a whole different conversation about like selling to 16, 17, 18 year olds, repack or even younger, some instances, like people buying with their own money. Can you tell them what to do? Sure. Is it gambling? I don't know. There's a lot of like questionable morality you can get involved in as you choose to talk about repacks versus like a box of cards, which opening a box of cards is gambling anyway, but I think it's a little bit different because you would imagine the odds are all even, quote unquote, if they're not. I don't know. It's just like a weird dynamic where the products that repackers have created is generally better than what Topps and Fanatics and Panini have released in the last year or two.
Well, what's interesting to me too is a lot of the stuff people that are doing repacks that are buying is it's still like not like end user card. Like it's a lot of like Prism 10, CJ Strouds or whatever's outside of a few people. I know like Leighton does really nice, like cooler cards, but a lot of the other ones are still, I guess, more so like you said, gambling, like just trying to get a higher value card rather than like getting actual cool cards in the repacks, which nothing wrong with it if they're making money and people that are buying are happy. But it is interesting to me that it continuously like they need those like random cards no one actually wants just to fill their boxes. And you can kind of see in comps, like a lot of those are trending down, like the CJ Stroud Prisms, no shit. Like there's more and more graded every day, but people are still selling them to repackers at 80, 90% or whatever. And I don't know. I guess there's not a lot of repackers right now that do repacks of like actual cool, like game used auto stuff. A lot of it's just gambling, like you kind of talked about.
Yeah, I mean, the shitty repacks will have Zion-based Prism 10s. Oh, it's a John Morant Silver 9. That's cool. Hey, you remember Sekou? Oh, that's in a $20 product. Wait, what are you talking about? Just throw that away. I don't know. Yeah, I would be really surprised if there's anyone who watches or listens to this podcast that truly collects non-numbered base and silver Prism cards. Now, I understand having them if you ripped the box and it was clean, you graded it, or like you picked one up in a trade, or like you're a Colts fan, you want an Anthony Richardson in your PC. Sure. But like one of them, not 5,000. And I'm curious because I've never checked this, Kai. How many Anthony Richardson Prisms, or CJ Stroud, I should say, how many Shrouds do you think are graded in PSA 10?
Ooh, I think I have about 20.
I'm going to say.
I'm gonna say.
Wow. Okay.
That's tough. I'm gonna say 700.
The PSA 10 Stroud base, 160 PSA 10,
No,
which is that's what it says.
there's no chance.
Wait, is this not? According to Card Ladder, the silvers are pop 81. The base are pop 160.
Dude, there's no chance I'm looking that up.
That can't be right.
0% chance. I've done like a fifth of that myself.
Okay, that's
Dave gives me out
You're
misinformation.
definitely right. That can't be possible.
Can't believe you'd lie to the people like that.
I'm not lying to the people. I can pull up my screen if you need, but like it does say. Yeah, but also it says there's been 71 sales. How the fuck is this possible? This can't be right.
Why can't I find 2023 Prism on PSA?
Yeah, go to PSA's website. This is what Card Ladder's showing me.
That's
Actually,
what
I might just scan. I can't even scan this one on alt. I'm gonna check alt though. You do Shroud. I'll do Anthony Richardson. I'm just curious.
Okay, give me a minute.
Because I agree with you. That doesn't sound right, but it's at least what Card Ladder said to me.
Well, I can like guarantee that's not right.
I understand that, but like, I'm just telling you what it said. I'm gonna.
Can I not? Is the 2023 Prism not on the pop reports? Like not on here?
Maybe it's right. I'm kidding.
Hold on, I'll
All right,
find
alt,
it.
can you like not do this right now?
I
wanna
can just
check.
look on my grades. Hold on.
Yeah, check your grades. I'm gonna check the Richardson super quick for conversation's sake. So Richardson Silver PSA 10s, pop 157.
That sounds more.
According to alt, that's what it is. PSA 9s are 267.
Can you not like? This is pissing me off.
I'm gonna check. I'll check CJ Shroud. I got it. I'm gonna check via alt.
Oh, I got it. You ready? What's your guess on base?
Base 750.
No, that's kind of what I would have thought. It's about double that at 1350.
That's fucking crazy. I don't know why Card Ladder was giving me the wrong information.
Because they want us to spend more money.
That's fair. All right, and then what are the silvers at?
I would tell you if I have gotten a silver 10.
I'll check it right now. I pulled one up on my screen.
Yeah, I can't. Like the website's not really. I don't know if something's wrong with it, but the pop report on 2023 Prism like isn't like accessible.
Maybe that's why Card Ladder's giving me the wrong information too.
Yeah.
So Shroud is pop 390 for PSA 10s.
For silver.
So I don't know why.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's like double AR, right?
Literally. PSA 9 is pop 440. And those are at about $350.
I guess that product's been out for what, 2 months now? 3?
It has been out since it looks like December. Looks like January. I'm sorry.
So
About 3 months.
3 months. So it's not that crazy, I guess. Yeah, I guess Zion, not to compare whatever, but I would think the numbers are probably higher than 1,000 base 10s after 3 months.
There are no BGS 10 Shroud Silvers.
I would think that's probably just because people aren't subbing them there. Like there's probably like 50 graded total.
I didn't double check, but
That's
just
what
saw
I would kind of hypothesize that to be.
I think there's probably more in Beckett. It's not a big deal, but once again, like no one is, unless you have one right now for your collection, because like Shroud doesn't have any like RPAs or like anything besides like the Tops Now autos and like a couple other like weird products. There's not much else you can buy of these guys, so I could see these being somewhat desired and collected, but not really. Like, I don't know. These are a weird exception to the case, but generally, like any other quarterback stuff, like, oh man, a Lamar Jackson Silver 9. You're not collecting that, guys.
Yeah, I think the Strouds are kind of just the easiest way to trade like liquid money without trading money. Almost.
It's basically cash.
Yeah.
Like you might get 80% of the dollar value out of it. Like you want cash right out, but like it's still cash. Probably one of the easiest things to move right now in modern football.
100%, yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to build a repack. Like I love Lane. Lane does a lot of good work. Lane avoids this type of stuff. And you can tell that, like, when you do the almanacs, or if you look at the almanacs, they have good quantity and quality. Like he would buy, for instance, like Lamar Jackson Nike swoosh autos out off me. We bought a bunch of like David Ortiz, like one of one definitive patches in Burbank. And that is, those are cool items. Like, is that for everyone? Absolutely not. But like, would you rather, if you were buying into a repack for $750, let's say, get a CJ Stroud Silver 10 or a David Ortiz one of one definitive booklet game use patch auto? Like, I'd rather have the Ortiz, even if the value is less certain than, say, the Shroud 10, where I'm like, all right, well, shit, I gotta go sell this right away.
Well, yeah, I guess it's also probably smarter from a repacker's point of view if you buy stuff like that either has like limited comps or just looks cool for people to not bitch as much if they hit like a bad card, I guess.
Or you put in a modern quarterback and like, oh, you're doing a repack when Anthony Richardson was playing well, and then, oh, he got hurt. Oops, now it's down.
Like a Trey Lance like slides in there.
Dude, apparently the Trey Lance one of one kaboom went for sale, and it did like $4,000 on eBay this week.
I don't know why. I think we talked about this somewhere in a chat, but I don't know why his cards are doing so well.
I mean, Dak's in a little bit of hot water, which is kind of weird, but like in reality, nothing's gonna come out.
In reality, like he's gonna be the quarterback. He's up for a free agent after the season, right, Dak?
I don't think it's next year, but I'll tell you in a second. Like either way,
Lance isn't playing.
Yeah,
unless Dak, I guess, breaks his leg or something.
Yeah, but even then, they would sign a quarterback immediately, and like, we have to be the guy until he's not. Dak is on the Cowboys until like next year, unrestricted free agent. It looks like he has an option or something. The way I'm reading this contract, so 25, 26 are voidable years for cap purposes. Automatically void 2 years prior to the start of the 2025 league year. Okay, so basically, it looks like he would be a free agent anyway. It's a little weird to understand this, but he has a no tag clause and a no trade clause. He's not going anywhere.
Yep. But yeah, I don't get it. Same with like Zach Wilson. Like, don't see anything happening there. But his cards, his are definitely, I think his are less than Lance probably right now, and also less transacted. But they still sell.
It's really weird, and actually, I was on Jay's YouTube live. He walked over to our table, so this video might exist out there. I'm not sure where it would be other than his YouTube account. He asked us who we thought were the worst quarterback investments going to be, or who was going to be the most highly traded quarterback asset at the National. And I said Anthony Richardson. I think Richardson is just going to be like the only Panini athlete who will have like RPAs and stuff that people care about for this past draft class. People can get burnt on him, and it's gonna be one of those assets. Like, if you own one, great. Move before the National. Move before week 1 and like get out of that shit right away.
Yeah, I think he's actually gonna be good though. Not that I would ever hold his card, but like compared to like a Lance or some shit like that, like I'd rather have the AR. Obviously,
I mean, I would rather have AR too. The issue with him is just like I just don't see ever like a 17 game healthy season out of him unless he just learns how to slide and like be less aggressive.
Well, yeah, I don't think any of us are like gonna hold the card like through the season.
Exactly, but like that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, if you're someone who doesn't have those connections or that intelligence to like really want to, if you want to own these players, awesome, you should. You buy them like 3 or 4 years down the line when someone moves on. Like, people used to really love Trevor Lawrence, and now a lot of people.
He's so like stuff's like underwater.
I would consider buying Trey Lance at this point. Not Trey Lance, I'm sorry. Trevor Lawrence, sorry. Another TL. But it would have to make sense based on like what I could get into them for. And even now, in circumstances of quarterbacks, let's talk in like October, November, December. There might be a world I buy Justin Fields as much as I hate him as a player because I know how these hype cycles work.
I don't know about that one.
I do. I already know what's going to happen.
What? They're going to bench Russ or something?
No, well, probably. But like what I imagine happening is Russell Wilson doing fine. Justin Fields maybe playing like 1 or 2 games this year, but not really. Does not come back on a 5th-year option. And right around this time next year, when like free agency begins, a team like the Vikings, the Giants, the Rams, some team are like they need like a bridge quarterback to come in, or like someone where they want to give him like a 2-year deal and like
Like
let
a
him compete
Baker
with, like,
Mayfield situation.
exactly like a Baker Mayfield situation. And then like you just sell that shit and you don't worry about it until later.
But I think the problem is going to be that Fields' cards were just astronomically higher than Baker's were when that happened.
No, they're gonna fall like 80%. Like I think
Yeah.
Fields cards are gonna be in the gutter as they rightfully deserve to be. And then you consider buying them. Like at the actual bottom, quote unquote, if his NTRPAs are, what are they going for right now?
I
Actually,
mean,
I'm
I
not even
know
gonna say,
Baker's are like stupid expensive for what he is. I think his are like $1,000.
I wonder what an NTRPA Fields goes for right now. I'm just curious.
Fields, I'm gonna
Once again,
guess 1,000.
I also hate Justin Fields. Once again, I very much do, and I was right
Future
about
Giants
that.
quarterback.
If they got him for like a fourth, I would have been like, all right, whatever. Like it's nothing. But he was moved for a sixth next year, which could be a fourth.
It's gonna be
So
a 6 too. 'Cause he's not gonna play
probably unless injury. So a 3-color RPA, not a true to 410 on the 17th.
for Fields.
For Fields, not a true RPA. It's the Prodigy one.
Oh,
Hang on. Let's see what this one did. This is a true RPA to 99. So one of his best cards. What did it do? This sold for. They're about $4,000. Wait, what? It can't be right. A true RPA to 99, PSA 9, pop 8, $6,000, March 17th. That has to drop to like $2,000, 2,500 for me to consider grabbing one. Like
Yeah.
that is way too high right now.
that is pretty stupid.
Crossovers are at $400. Booklet $285. Like the true RPA is just such a bad buy. Yeah, I don't get, like, I don't know. It might be worth grabbing a couple of like the cheap rookie autos of him, like, and that's NT. That is one of the best products you can grab of Fields, and those non-true RPAs are under $500. They might be under $200, $300 soon, and I might grab a couple in like
Yeah.
October, November, December. I don't know, and I hate him. I don't think he's good.
I think everyone understands that.
I know, but I was right, and that's all that matters. I just want to be right, Kyle.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of wanted to get like a Kirk Cousin card just to have one, but his
He
stuff,
doesn't have much.
dude, his stuff's even like expensive too. I mean, he's like a fine quarterback, but I'm not gonna pay $500 for a Contenders PSA 10 auto. Like,
No, don't buy a rookie. Wait for wait a year for like an immaculate auto to come out or something like
yeah,
that. He'll have autos now. Like Cousins is good enough that like you could throw him into like an impeccable, an immaculate. I mean, I doubt he would sign plenty flawless card, for instance, but like he should be in a pretty good product and have, if not patch autos, just like autos in general for the Falcons next year, like whatever, and that would be interesting. This might be like $100 or so.
we're getting kind of close to the draft, sort of. Not really, I guess. A month away.
Yeah,
Any idea what you want the Giants to do?
I'm starting to get more into the draft coverage now. Like I try to wait until like a week or two before, and then like I consume a bunch of content. But what I've been seeing now after the Vikings traded up for 23, like there's a world where it goes like Caleb, Drake May, and then the Vikings trade up for like Jaden Daniels, or like, you know, if the Commanders go and want Jaden Daniels instead of Drake May, not Falcons, Vikings getting Drake May. Like I see that being very interesting. Like I'm starting to pay attention to the trades. I want the Giants to end up with Rome Odunze or Joe Alt. If they take JJ McCarthy, I may miss the next podcast episode.
I was gonna say, do you buy into the trying to trade up stuff at all for him?
I don't. Like I get the issues with Daniel Jones, and I absolutely hate him. Like that is perfectly reasonable for me to say. But once again, the Giants are not in a position to like properly build around a young QB, and he would not play anyway. So, like, start to build something up. You know Daniel Jones is bad, so you're probably going to be like 4-13, 5-12 next year anyway, and be around the same spot anyway to draft a QB. Because no matter what, like I don't care what people say, there's always several quarterbacks that end up going in the first round, except for 2021 or 2022, whenever Kenny Pickett got drafted. Like that was actually an historically bad draft class. But even if that happens, you're going to suck anyway, and then you just try again the next year. There will eventually be a generational QB, a can't miss quarterback that is available, and the Giants are bad anyway. You at least have like weapons in place or like an offensive line in place or whatever. Then you worry about it. Like drafting JJ McCarthy now does nothing for the team at all.
So when you guys draft him, what are you going to do?
I'm going to miss the next episode.
I could see you guys doing some sort of trade up for him, or I could see you guys going after like a Penix, Rattler, whatever in like the second round.
I would like Penix or Rattler. That would be okay with me.
I kind of want to draft one of them as well in the second or third.
Like there is a realistic world, Kai, where like 5 QBs go in the first round, which is absolutely nuts because I really thought it'd only be 3, maybe.
I could see 5 in the top 10.
That's the scariest thing is like that could happen. Like teams just seem to always reach for QBs with like really questionable talent. There's always one.
I mean, it's almost a guarantee. I feel like at this point, there's the first 4 quarterbacks.
I don't know. No, I don't think it'll be the first 4. I really think the Cardinals will take Marvin Harrison at 4. So like the Chargers at 5 could be someone people try to trade up for. Even the Giants at 6. Like there's a world where the Giants get a call and they have to trade back to like 12, 13, 15, whatever. And they should. They are very much in a bad position anyway, that they need as much talent as you can get. If a team tries to trade up, if like JJ McCarthy is there at 6, I would absolutely trade back.
Yeah.
We're going to take him, aren't we?
I think so.
If they take JJ McCarthy, don't call me.
He reminds me of Daniel Jones just in the way of like being like a bust. Not a bust, but like being disappointing.
Athletic white QB who just like I don't feel good about. Yeah. Just don't, dude. I don't.
Another 4 years of pain. Welcome to my life too.
It's all right. Like you at least have now chosen a direction. Like you were not tanking, but you were just bad for a couple years. So, but the Giants were worse, and then winning that playoff game against the Vikings was probably the worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty fired up for next year. Actually, I think we're gonna be pretty good.
I would not be shocked if the Falcons go like.
You know, we have the 11th best odds to win the Super Bowl.
Who are you ahead of?
I don't know, like 20 teams.
Yes, I understand that.
I don't have the list. I'm just saying I know we're like 11th in betting.
Okay, go find the list. I'm curious to see like where you were ranked because like basically saying at 11 you are a 5 seed in the NFC roughly. So you're not winning your division.
I think we're almost a lock to win the division, so I don't think we would be a 5 seed.
Well, if you're the 11th best odds, then that's what I'm saying. Is like you would be a middle.
So do you want to know who we're behind or who we're ahead of?
Give me the next 3 that you're better odds than, and the 3 you're behind.
Okay, let me just pull this random one. Oh wait, this is before we got Kirk Cousins. That won't help.
Yeah, that won't help. You'd be like 20th.
Where's DraftKings?
You want to pull up the screen too whenever. Like Giants are doomed to go 5-12 again next year.
All right,
Dump Jones.
How do I do this?
You go to present and then like share screen. Yeah, I don't remember the last time you shared your screen actually. It's been a bit. All right, so let's
here
look
we
at
are. And here's the 10 teams ahead of us.
Okay, 49ers, obviously Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Lions, Bengals, Eagles, Cowboys, Dolphins, Packers, Falcons. They have you have better odds than the Jets. The Texans are better odds. I don't like that. The Chargers depends on what happens if they get a couple wide receivers. The Bears I like you better than. The Rams,
Rams and Browns feel like some value there.
Rams feel like value. I don't agree on Browns. I agree on Jags. I agree on Steelers. Steelers are good at plus 5,000. I don't like the Colts. Bucks, I expect a regression, so like would not shock me if they're bad next year.
Sneaky value, Raiders.
No, I don't think Raiders. If you want sneaky value,
You take the Falcons at 2,200.
If you want sneaky value on those last couple of teams, I would consider the Vikings kind of sneaky there.
They don't even have
based
a
on it.
quarterback.
Well, let me finish what I was about to say. If you're taking them as a sneaky pick, you're basing it on the fact that you think JJ McCarthy is incredible and they end up trading up for him, or they end up getting like Drake May or Jaden Daniels, and you just pray it works.
I would say Rams probably have best value.
I mean, yes, but I'm looking at like the long shots. I don't see the Bucks doing well next year. The Saints are screwed, and then everyone at plus 10,000 is just going to suck.
Screwed.
Dude, the Saints are just screwed. They are.
Nah, money's not real.
No, they lost so many players this past
They're
year.
still like negative $30 million in cap
They
space.
signed Chase Young for
their team.
They signed Chase Young for a 1 year, $13 million.
How do they have $13 million?
God, money's a concept. You don't understand. It's a social contract, dude.
But yeah, I thought this was pretty interesting. Like, I think division wise, yeah, we're pretty heavy favorites to win. I think we're the only team besides the Chiefs and Niners that are like have bad odds.
I mean, to be fair, if you go back to your division, you have the Panthers are gonna suck. Sorry, Saints are in hell. The Bucks, the Bucks, I realistically think are your only competition. But like, I just see them regressing and going like 7-10 next year, 8-9. Like, I don't see it being, a slam dunk for them again.
6th best odds to win the NFC.
Yeah, so you are a middle of the pack playoff team. So in these odds, hypothetically, it is Niners, Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, and Packers.
I agree with all that, honestly.
I can see that happening too. I mean, it's very possible a team like
Seahawks kind of sneaky.
The Rams or the Seahawks can get in. I don't see the Panthers, the Giants, Commanders. Like, I don't see that being a path forward. I think 6 is about right, honestly, for you guys.
Make the playoffs. Wow, minus 300 to make the playoffs.
I'd rather bet you to win your division than make the playoffs at that point. Because if you're making the playoffs, you're probably winning your division.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see the Bucks improving on.
It's kind of insane to see us have these kind of odds after what I've been through the last 6 years.
But once again, like, your division is not great. The Bucks last year were the record last year. Why is this so hard to find? I just want to find your record. They went 9-8 last year. Okay, so like truly a toss-up. And then they won the division last year or 2 years ago, going 8-9. Like, you get to 10 wins, you win the division.
Yeah, I think the last couple years, the team that's won has had 9.
Literally was 8 wins in 2022 and 9 wins in 2023.
Yeah.
And then Tom Brady was there for 2020 and 2021, which does not really count for this conversation.
Yep.
I don't know. All right. Well, what else? Anything? Oh, we got questions. We can touch on these super quick. We kind of go on tangents every now and again.
Fuck
All right.
People that actually watch and want to ask something.
I know. I got a question from Ball Cards in the Attic. Oh my god. Talk about the most ghetto thing you saw at trade night. So last trade night, last Dallas card show, not this one that happened. Someone had set up a table in the lobby of the Dallas card show made of cardboard. Like, it was a cardboard table.
Guess it's better than nothing.
It is better than nothing, but like that, if we're calling it quote unquote ghetto, using a cardboard to make a table was pretty exotic and different, and it was intelligent. It was cool.
You should have gone and knocked it over.
No. This one came in from SV Sports Cards. Jordan was on our podcast once upon a time. I have to make sure actually his name was Jordan. Oh god, I'm so stupid. It is Jordan, thank God. All right, cool. Did not embarrass myself. That card collectors have the worst takes in actual sports and should not be listened to. Yes.
Yeah.
we've kind of touched on this, and I think I speak for both of us when I say this, that like when you have a large amount of your money financially committed to a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, first baseman, third baseman, outfielder, young 19-year-old prospect, you are going to not be impartial. You're going to say that player is better than they actually are, or that team, because you are not impartial. You're putting a lot of money behind this. You may have trash opinions as a sports fan as a result.
Yeah, I mean, some people that do really well on cards too don't even like know about sports. They just know business and money. And
Correct.
They do well.
The vast majority of people that I know, Kai, that do well in sports cards do not watch sports.
Yeah, so
objectively, like, you really think people that are buying Victor cards are watching Spurs games?
No,
they're watching ESPN highlights, maybe. Like, you really think people are watching Jackson Holiday play in Double-A for the Orioles? No.
Nope.
The trick to that, and this is funny because one of my friends, older brother, wants to get into cards, and he has a really in-depth fantasy football knowledge, like where he writes up like 50 to 60, 70 pages, like documents about fantasy football per year. And like, he was talking to me about sports cards. He doesn't get it yet, which is perfectly fine. But it comes from a place of knowledge.
Doesn't get it yet.
No, but like, he thought like Silver Prism was like the only thing you should buy, and like, you should buy running backs and wide receivers. I'm like, no. I'm not exposing him. It's good knowledge to have. Like, he understands the sport, which is great because you can build on that knowledge. But he doesn't get the card knowledge, which is freaking backwards, dude. You can ignore so much about actual sports if you want to play in the high-end sports card world. It's actually laughable. The second thing we talked about on this podcast ever, episode 2, was the white noise of sports cards, and it's still true. You can ignore most brands and most players in sports. Hell, in baseball, if you really want to, you can just buy Bowman Chrome and buy nothing else, for instance, and you would be okay.
Yep, very true.
There is so much white noise that exists. If in a world where 10 to 15 products existed only, and that was it for sports cards, I could make that list happen, and you would not notice anything different from like a high-end or trading sports card world. Because there's very few times I go and get an XR, or I get a not XR.
You don't like the XR? Wow.
I would get rid of XR. Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, I would light it on fire. Yeah.
Oh man, there's a absolute 6-patch relic of Anthony Richardson for $200. Like, that does not need to exist. Oh man, I'm really miss Pantheon baseball.
Pantheon baseball is brutal. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Like, obviously, we're gonna have more products come out than less because money.
Breaking news: Mike Williams to the Jets.
Yeah, that's not really shocking, actually. That does not.
1 year, $15 million.
That tracks. Okay, yeah, the Jets are going for it. Not surprised by that. Anything else you want to add about products in general, Kai, or no? Can I move on to this last question?
No, like half of them are dog shit, but who cares?
More than half, I would say. Honestly.
Yeah, I would say I literally, when I'm like looking for stuff, there's like 3 products and then maybe some like older cool stuff. Like 3 products every year, maybe 4, maybe max. Yeah. They're never going to get rid of them, so what are you going to do?
No, there's nothing. It's just being an intelligent collector, which is a whole different conversation.
We've like complained about it before. At this point, it's like they're not going to do anything.
No, but it's just being acknowledging it. Speaking of acknowledging it, from Legion Sports Cards, we suck PSA's balls with ferocity until the powers that be in this community complain.
What does that even mean?
It means, first off, not a question, but really funny statement. It is true. The way I understand that is PSA is the king of grading sports cards. I think everyone can acknowledge that just based on what items sell for and trade for and move in the marketplace for. They're the king. They've done some questionable things across their entire history. No one gives a shit. As long as PSA continues to be the king of the sports card world, which they are going to be, most likely, because, hey, they just bought up one of their competitors in SGC. Beckett is eating glue in the corner and does not understand how to grow their company. In fact, they are literally shrinking. Nothing is going to change. PSA will swing their nuts around as much as they want to, I guess. And we all have to take it because guess what? For a lot of people, this is a business. And yeah, people might say how much they like tag grading cards. But have you ever seen a $10,000 card graded in tag? No, you haven't.
Didn't someone send like a... Never mind. I don't know what it was, but someone sent like a crazy card to like tag or CSG or something. I don't know. Never mind.
I only send my John Morant NCRPAs to ISA grading.
Whew, that's
a deep cut right there. So real quick before we log off for today, about 2 years, maybe 3 years ago at this point, this is a real deep cut. I don't know who this was. It might have been Wholesale Sports Cards. It might have been someone else who was affiliated with them. Created Black Mamba grading.
Oh yeah.
It was so trash. I just remember not fighting with them, but fighting with them. And like they said they're going to change the industry, and they made 5 posts, maybe graded 20 cards, and their website does not exist anymore. So I was right.
I've seen the slab before.
It's so bad.
Yeah, in real life.
I'll put a picture or 2 up, and then I'll put my comment of me making a skull face like 3 years ago and being right. And people apparently were really complaining about turnaround time and like damage and stuff, and how they were getting like 9s and 10s for cards that should have been like 1s and 3s.
Oh man.
I know. All right. Anything else you want to touch on, Kai, or no?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching and listening. Next time, yeah, we'll figure it out when we get there. Bye.